Samuel is here. The celestial. Yeah. The celestial is here. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. That's right. Enjoy. Kick back. We're going to kick back a little bit. Relax. Enjoy. This is going to be, as I said, we're doing actually a documentary. Putting these videos together. I'm going to try to get in here and explain some things. How is all doing? Hey. We're going to get on with the program. I want to try to get this closed up tonight. Get it out of the way. I feel like that's the way. That's the way I feel us having me do this. So here we go. We're going to say this. We we had stopped, of course. Yesterday's show wasn't able to share much. Share a little bit tonight. We're going to get into this and talk a little bit about Solomon and why I am doing a documentary on Solomon and the demons. We are going to notice through all this that these demons are showing up. Not these archangels and angels, archangels, not showing up. We notice that archangels have showed up in this, but not archangels. So I asked the question, why is that? Also, I asked the other question, how is it the demons are telling you the future plans of creation? Doesn't make any sense if you stop and think about it, does it? So that's why the Celestial is here. To explain exactly what everyone is seeing and witnessing. In time, you will go back and you will watch my shows, and so will I. I love rewatching my stuff. They're very entertaining, very deliberate, very precise. There is a lot of spirits that we carry with us, but these spirits and demons, and think of it as set by design. There you go, that deja vu feeling. You know you are stepping into the future, hitting your checkpoints. So are the other spirits, the spirits that come back and play again. As I said, as I spend my time discovering my purpose for what I call, of course, I say Mama Earth, I mean like female Earth. So I'm going to say, there you go, there's a good one. I kind of like that one too. Female Earth. What does that mean? That includes the essence thereof all females, as well as, that's it, the transporter. When I sleep, I am technically not here. I am wherever I got to be in the future. And then I come back. It's hard to explain to people who are not meant to understand that, but by design, we know what's happening. So we're going to move forward. I'm going to get off here and finish this up. As I'm narrating, I want everybody to listen and be very attentive. If you need to get your stuff together, I'm sorry. You need to get your massages on. You need to get your drinks ready. Get ready to sit back and learn a few things that we all should know about. So, without further ado, I'm fixing to give to you, everyone quiet. High priest. This is going to be very futuristic, and I wanted to give that as deja vu. There's a reason I'm doing this. This goes out to technically the ones that will be immortalized for eternity. It's very well you know these people. It's very well you know these spirits and these entities and deities. You will in time. For the most part of the world, I will go with this in deja vu. We all know that learning this stuff sometimes goes in one ear and out the other until we hear it enough that it, boom, sticks, so to speak. Most people will take and they will play with, of course, the spirits of Lucifer. They'll play with the certain main ones like Beelzebub, as well as in the witches, goddesses, gods. They can dabble and play in those elements. What does that mean? Each one of these are an anchor. It's like opening the portal and letting it flood through. When you open up that portal and you let it flood through, it's going to give people back things they were missing. For example, today, there was so many people I seen when I was out and about, walking around. I noticed people picking up things and then setting it down like they didn't know what just happened. It's a contrast in their mind, their thoughts. They literally are getting that back. And as time goes on, you know, it's really meant for this time of understanding as far as what female us showed me in my dreams and stuff. That's what I'm getting at. We have been so chemically unbalanced as a race of human beings that now the reset has begun. So we're bringing back all the things that we should have already had. There you go. For some it will be overload, yes. For others it will drive pretty much bonkers. There are some who is even deja vu like zombies. There you go. Kind of something like that. But we have to. It's a portal that's been closed that needs to finish being opened. So that way, the world. Now, as far as, of course, the celestial Samuel, which is me and all my wards under me are protected. If you're a ward under me, if you're not a ward, and nobody has told you, hey, you need to be a ward of Samuel, in other words, a brother in belief, I protect you. I can do that. Those who are not, well, you know, I've told people, I said, I am already in your mind. You cannot get me out. You cannot throw me away. You wish that was impossible. But if there's God's state, then I have it. So when somebody approaches me to hurt me, they're the ones getting slapped in the brains and they don't know what to do with themselves. That's what I'm telling you. That's why they all start acting like if somebody is trying to harm me or one of my wards, and my wards also are females too. All the females who know me. You don't like it. That's all of them. It goes for every one of them. It could be every one of them. Here, let's try this again. I know every female from beginning to end before they're even born. In 100 years from now, I will know them all. That's what I said, 100 years from now. You won't know the difference. A lot of you won't. But I will know the difference. And so will my immortals 100 years from now. So, that being said, we're going to move forward with the rest of what... This is the magic everyone has been looking for. I'll be honest with you. When I speak, it occurs. It happens. It must. Like having the whole world in the palm of your hand. Nobody else can do this magic. Nobody else can open these doors. But you can see it through me as I deliver it to you. There you go. By design, the whole world will see this very soon. Very soon. As well as today, I talked some more to some people about what I call, it's very biblical, the power of three. What is the power of three stand for? In many different religions, many different cultures, there's always some type of Godhead of the power of three. The power of three. The one that I will be talking about in the future. I'm really not going to get into it. really can control all the energies, the powers of creation together as one. They can form a very powerful system of unbelief. That's why there's 3 fingers in I love you. That's why there's 3 fingers in K. Technically, that's what it is. Now, that being said, the power of 3. Let's move on. I want to try to get through here. If we still got more time later on, I will talk some more. But right now, I'm letting all the energy focus, because from all of the female earth, they've got to understand all this. They will actually, in a matter of a few years, it will be preached, taught, understood in all schools everywhere around the world. Because we will learn something through this that the world has never wanted to learn. The world has always said, just follow the light. You won't do anything. Your demons are out to haunt you. Your demons are out to do this. Your demons are wrong. We're seeing now a different pattern, aren't we? The demons are the one who know the future. The demons know exactly who's going to come and who isn't. So we go with what? We can't go with the angels. We can't go with the archangels. And I said arch. You can't go with the archangels. They're too busy together, off in their own, wherever they're at. They're not even trying. So have I made my point very clear to all those who are with me on this? That's why we are in a world of shadows. We, as entities, close our eyes. I'm teaching here. We close our eyes to work out. We try as much as we can to close our eyes at everything we do. Our senses will wake up. Now, that's why I said I'm the celestial. Now, that being said, will there be more celestials? Yes. I do know of 3. I will just leave it that way. Very interesting cycles. It's not, somebody said deja vu on an age thing. To the celestials, and I do mean 3, age is not a number. For example, I keep saying it. I asked, how old will I live to be? To the female earth in my presence. And she said unto me, in all her voices, 126.6 years. She's going to defy the Bible with this vessel. So she can make her point very clear. She says, I will not age much if a couple more wrinkles don't mean nothing on this vessel. It's still going to be, how does deja vu, sexy, hot, still the handsome, still the celestial, still the number 1. That's it. Look, I'm the one who went to her and asked when all the others didn't even care. When all the others are too busy doing everything else, I went to the planet. I got out of my hands and knees, and she came to me. In several ways, but we're not getting into that. I do have the Spookmaster show. Anybody has seen that show, go back and watch my YouTubes. I went and I talked to her, and that presence showed up then too. You see, in time, at a time appointed, I'll put it that way, part of my survival show will be having rituals, and I'll set up the video and watch that spirit, that entity come back. There is a connection I just made between what we're doing and what you will see in the future. That's why on my survival of magic, I don't want anybody to be there that's not magic. If you're not magic, watch it from where you're at. But if you are magic, encase yourself in what I'm doing. That way, when the spirit shows up, that entity shows up, because she's going to be seen one way or another. She's going to be heard for the whole world to know. That's why I'm the high priest of the magics. I am the one she chose to come do this. So I'm going to lay it out like in deja vu, like she gives it, and I'm just going to come out of my mouth with it. That's what the Samuel is supposed to do. As the king of her earth. It's not a choice. I don't even want one. I love it so much. When I step outside, and I mean step outside, I mean even in this house right now, I step outside or everywhere I go. I look up at the sky. And the celestials understand this. The true ones know when they look up to that sky, they hear her calling back. Deja vu and deja vu. The immortals get that touch. They get to understand it. They get to feel it a little bit. And I understand, immortals. That's why I'm here with you. Fear not what she's doing. She's doing it for each of us. Does that make us Satanists? I guess so, yes. Does that make us necromancer? Yes. I'm going to ask you one question only. When anybody watches this, if you want love, will you go find that puppy love? I'm not even going to begin to tell you all the ways you'll either make money or don't make money. If you love money, then you go love money. If you love and you need companionship and you need this boo-hoo and yah-ha stuff, you go do it all you need to do. But it's going to come down before you die what you ask yourself next. Here's deja vu. If you want love, then go love. If you want money, then go get money. But if you want power, I've said this many times, if you were chosen for power, then don't make the same mistake Eve made with Adam. You understand, Eve? If you choose another Adam, Eve, and not the power, you destroy yourself over again in the same spirit. I hope you're listening to me. I hope it dawns on you. There are those who wanted to be Eve and gave up their power when they should have been holding on. There are those who knew they wanted to so bad and said no and walked away from their power, transferring it over to the next one. You see, that's where Melchizedek comes in. I am Hebrew. I'm a second-born. A second-born contains power. Every time I preach and teach or talk magic, you will still hear me say these words. The Jews are the firstborns of Israel. The Hebrews are the power. They are the youngest, second-born. Always the second-born. Not the third, not the fourth, not the 15th. The second-born is the one that houses every power. Now, to the world and those who are not of immortals, there are immortals who are firstborn, yes. Yes, you can be immortal and firstborn, but your power is highly limited. Limited. Your second-borns houses the powers. Now, for a celestial, celestials will have one of a firstborn, housing also two, considered secondborns. You see what I mean? A good example that I'm trying to get to in deja vu. For example, let's say you're deja vu. I'm doing the beacon thing right now. Several things going on around the world at the same time. So give me a second. I'm looping back around. Here we go. Okay. a question that comes through. What if you are a second alive? I'll go with that. What if you're a second born alive? In other words, let's say, a good example. Let's say a second born, this will go out to males and females. Let's say mommy has a firstborn. I'm not going to say any names. Let's say mommy has a second child. You could say the boy or girl. Let's say you have a third child. Boy or girl. The second one dies. Does that make the third one the second born? Yes. Yes, because if the second born actually dies, that power goes to the third one, causing Hebrew second born. To a lot of people, that seems not to make sense, but when you're a Hebrew, you know it makes perfect sense. Because something happens. It's like a power that come out into you. And we who are that way understand that. That's where Hebrews differ from Jews. Jews have a solitude to lead forward pretty much in one direction. Where the Hebrews are like, there you go, there you go. Now we're going to move on, get on with this. We'll talk more about that some other time. Right now, I really like to get on with this. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let it do its job. How is it sounding on the Facebook?
His goddess, Enepsigos, had been bound in chains and dismissed from his presence. Solomon commanded another spirit to come before him. And there came before his face a demon.
Now I know this
whose
is
front
part
was
of
the shape of a horse, but its behind was that of a fish. He had a mighty voice, and said to the king, O King Solomon, I am a fierce spirit of the sea, and I am greedy of gold and silver. I am such a spirit that rounds itself, and comes over the expanses of the waters of the sea, where I trip up the men who sail there. I transform and round myself into a wave, and then throw myself at ships, and come right in on them, and loot whatever money and treasures I may find.
And it says the sea
That
shall
is
give
what
up the
I
dead.
do, for that is my way of
You are
getting
free.
hold of money.
Go
and
give
men.
up the dead.
But I am not covetous of men's
Cover
bodies,
the men in the sea.
for I have no use for them. I take the men
Motor
and whirl
B.
them round
Bless
with
him.
myself, and
So we
throw
see
them
what's
so
happening.
far away, casting them up out of the sea. But Beelzebul, ruler of the spirits of air, and of those under the earth, and Lord of earthly ones, has a joint kingship with us, in respect that each one of us tell him of our
Put
deeds.
motor B, put blessed be.
Therefore I went up from the sea to tell him of mine, only to be assaulted by bringing me here. I also have another
Motor B,
character
blessed
and
be.
role.
Deja vu on you.
I transform myself
Yes.
into waves,
You know.
and come up
Yes.
from the sea, and show myself to men, so that those on earth call me Kunos Baston, because I assume a human form. As I pass up into men, I send forth a certain nausea, causing them to be seasick.
Ah, there's
I
a
came
sickness
then
again.
to take counsel with the Prince Beelzebul, and he bound me, and delivered me into your hands. And here I am
Beelzebul.
before you, because of this seal, and you now torment me.
Nobody's
The waters of
tormenting
the
you
sea
yet.
sustain me. Behold now, in 2 or 3 days, the spirit that stands before you and
See it
converses
now?
with you will weaken and fail, because I have no water. And Solomon said to him, Tell me by what angel you are frustrated. And he answered, By the angel Iamith.
I am it.
And
You will
Solomon
set it free.
commanded that the spirit be thrown into a glass vessel, filled with 10 jugs of seawater, of 2 measures
Deja
each.
vu.
And he
Motor B,
sealed the
blessed
mouth
be.
of the vessel round, above the marbles and asphalt and pitch. And having sealed it with his ring,
And
he
many
ordered
times
it
do we
to be
need.
deposited in the temple of God.
Let the waters flow. Yeah, yeah. None of this will hurt my peoples. My peoples. The rest of the world, on your own with them.
When the demon seahorse had been sealed within a glass vessel, Solomon ordered another spirit to come before him. And there came before his face another spirit, having obscurely the form of a man, very tall and large, with gleaming eyes, and bearing in his hand a sharp blade. This spirit was a Nephil, one of the Nephilim, a race of giants mentioned in the Christian Bible, who existed when the world was still young. Giants who were the children of the sons of God.
Okay, I'm going to pause this and speak on this for a second. As my son pointed out, I had him watch and listen to this. Very curiously, my son is considered a giant. He is right at 6'7" feet tall. Very big boy. Very humble. He's a very humble son. He's a Nephilim. And we see them all over the place. For most Nephilims seem to be humbled. But tonight you're going to hear what the Nephilim says. And as I've talked to my son and showed him such a thing, I instructed him to make sure that he realizes this is not a trip to harm things. This is no excuse. It's something he has to fight in himself. We'll see it plain as day. My son, also like everyone else, is a bigger guy. When he gets a little more mad than other people, you know he's not as easy to control. But so was the giants back in those days. And left to do their own things, of course, no consequences. But the Nephilim is very much alive, and so is the giants among all of us. They just kind of mellowed out. So remember that, giants. You are your own families. You had the world.
And Solomon asked him, saying, Who are you? And the spirit answered, I am a lascivious spirit, a lustful spirit, who had risen from a giant man who died during a massacre.
My son loves
giants.
video games.
Solomon
He's a
said
war
to him,
lover,
Tell me,
but he doesn't
what do you
fight.
do upon earth, and where is your dwelling
How
place?
many have we heard like it?
And he answered, My dwelling is in fruitful places. But here is what I do. I seat myself beside the men who pass along and among the tombs of the dead, and in untimely season I assume the form of the dead, whereby, if I catch any one, I at once destroy him with my sword. But if I cannot destroy him, I cause him to be possessed with a demon, and to devour his own flesh, and the hair to fall off his chin. And Solomon said to him, Do you have fear for the God of heaven?
So, as I pointed out to my son, did anyone figure out when you frustrate a Nephilim what he told you he would do? Now that's not something you play with. Those are gifts. Go back and watch again. As I pointed out to my son, I won't always be with you, but you always have a way to protect yourself. If the Nephilim back then would have known it, the whole world would have been made of giants. Food for thought. Now we're going to go this way and turn it back on.
Tell me by what angel you were frustrated.
Which?
And the spirit answered, He who frustrates me is he who is to become the Savior, a God-made man, whose name, if written on anyone's forehead, will defeat me, for I shall quickly retreat. And indeed, if anyone bears his sign on him, I shall be in fear, and go no closer. Like the spirits before him, this spirit made reference to Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And Solomon glorified the Lord God, and imprisoned this demon, like he did the rest.
Samuel, also known as Emmanuel. How's everyone doing? The Beelzebub, the babies, I'm telling you, Mr. Beelzebub, how you all do? All right, get this one.
Bound, Solomon commanded another demon to come before him.
Comes another one.
And there came before his face 36 spirits, most of their heads shaped like animals, but in themselves they were in human form, having faces of all sorts, faces of asses, faces of lion, faces of...
Let's pause for a second, shall we? We're going to go to the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel is a very powerful book. It actually entails the 4 wheels. Now, as we talk about the 4 coins in its portal position, you'll notice the portal position in my 4 coins or wheels. So we have the portal. That's right. Okay. Embodied with that portal, all existence is the same. We can see that as it comes back. 36 different features from the animals, all encased in human forms. Why? Because let's face it, humans are animals. They are part of creation. We try to say, for example, if we have an animal in the house, we try to say we think for them or act for them. And the truth is we're really not acting for them or thinking for them. Technically, sometimes we really are thinking for them. Because we are species that can connect. We are species that can touch. We are species that can feel that same emotion. We try to disconnect from that, but at the same time, the portal keeps us together. So I really want you to listen and pay attention as it all comes at you. Soak it in. Just soak it all in. I have to say it several times, and people are like, oh, but I'm going to say it. There is such thing as beast in reality. Wake up, whole world. That's not my fault. Well, technically, having control with Mother Earth, it had to be pretty much a 3-split system. Is everybody figuring out the 3-split system yet? The 3 powers. That's right. You understand that as we go on. 36 also breaks down to the root of 3. Watch how this plays out.
Of birds. These were the spirits of the zodiacal circle and of the 36 constellations called decans in ancient Egyptian astronomy.
Notice.
And Solomon, on seeing them, wondered and asked them, saying, Who are you?
Listen.
But they,
of
one accord, with one voice, said, We are the 36 elements, the world rulers of darkness. And O King Solomon,
the rulers of,
nor imprison us, nor lay command on us. But since the Lord God has given you authority over every spirit in the air, and on the earth, and under the earth, we therefore also present ourselves before you, like the other spirits, from ram and bull, from both twin and crab, from lion and virgin, from scales and scorpion, from archer and goat-horned, and from water-pourer and fish. Then Solomon invoked the name of the Lord Sabaoth, and questioned each in turn as to what was its character. He bade each one to come forward and tell of its actions. And the 36 spirits came forward in threes, each set of 3, representing one zodiacal sign. The first 3 decans came forward
The first 3.
and introduced themselves as the decans of the first zodiacal sign, the
Aries.
one known as Aries, or the Ram. And Solomon questioned them, saying,
Daima.
"What are you called?"
Deja vu.
And the first spirit said, "I am called Ruax, and I cause the heads of men to be
This one's
idle,
Ruach.
and pillage their brows. But if I hear the words, Michael,
So,
imprison Ruax, I retreat at
Michael,
once."
let Ruach go.
The second said, "I am called Bar-Sephael, and I cause those who are subject to
Do
my
no
power
harm to the
to feel
celestial
the
Samuel
pain
and
of
his
misery.
3.
If only I hear the words, Gabriel, imprison Bar-Sephael, I retreat at once." And the
Gabriel,
third said,
let that first
"I am
go.
called Arotosel,
Deja vu.
I do harm to the eyes, and grievously injure them. Only let me hear the words, Uriel, imprison Aratosael, and I'll retreat at once." The fourth spirit was not given
Uriel,
account
let
of,
it go.
or perhaps he declined to introduce himself,
And go
but he
do
is
his
called
work.
Horapel.
Horapel.
The fifth spirit said, "I am called Eudel, and I
Eudel.
bring about a block in the ears, and deafness of hearing.
It happens.
If I hear,
Free.
Uriel, imprison
Uriel.
Eudel, I retreat at once."
I'm the celestial.
And the
I'm
sixth
the
said,
command.
"I am called Sundanel. I cause tumours of the parotid gland,
Everyone
and
but the
inflammations of the
celestial
tonsils,
and the 3 and
and
the
tetanic
immortal.
recurvation. If I hear, Sabrael, imprison Sundanel, I retreat at once."
Some bread. Set it free.
These spirits, from the
There
fourth
we
to
go.
the sixth, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign,
This is what I feel the
Taurus,
deja vu. This is
or
what
the
I do.
bull. The seventh spirit said, "I am called Svander,
Slime.
and I weaken the strength of the shoulders, and cause them to tremble.
Everyone but the
I
celestial.
paralyze
and
the
the
nerves
elf
of the
and the
hands.
immortals.
I
and the
break and
powers.
bruise the bones of the neck, and I suck out the marrow. But if I hear the words, Aral, imprison Svander,
Adderall.
I at once retreat."
Release. Esperal.
The eighth said,
Not a big
"I am
blessing.
called
Go
Belbel.
do your work.
I distort the hearts and minds of men. If I hear the words, Aral, imprison Belbel, I at once retreat."
Error.
And the ninth said, "I am called
Free
Curtel.
Baba.
I send
Not a big
colics in
blessing.
the bowels, and I induce pains.
Go do your work.
If I
Go
hear
free
the
God.
words,
What a
Ioth,
big blessing be.
imprison Curtel,
Ah, but the
I at
celestial
once
is
retreat."
pleased with them.
These spirits, from seventh to ninth, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign, Gemini, or the twins. The 10th
twins?
spirit said,
Think of,
"I am called Metathiax. I cause the reins to ache. If I hear the words, Adonal,
Let the
imprison
reins ache.
Metathiax, I at once retreat."
Go do your work.
The
Go
11th
free.
said, "I am called Catanicotal. I create strife and wrongs in men's homes, and send on them hard temper. If anyone would be at peace in his home, let him write on 7 leaves of laurel the name of
Notice
the
the
angel that
7 leaves.
frustrates me, along with these words, I, sons of Sabaoth, in the name of the great God, shut up Catanicotal. Then let him wash the laurel leaves in water, and sprinkle his house with the water
He don't have the leaves.
to the outside,
So go do your job.
and at once I shall retreat."
Go work.
And the 12th said,
Go
"I
do
am
your
called
work. The
Saphathai,
celestial
and
his
I
immortals.
inspire partisanship in men, and delight in causing them to stumble. If anyone will write on paper these names of angels,
work.
Iako, Elo, Iolid,
Command it.
Sabaoth, Ithoth,
Step up.
and having folded it up, were
Do
it
your work.
round his neck or against his ear, I at once retreat and dissipate the drunken
It
fit.
won't happen. Go.
These spirits, from the 10th to the 12th, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign, Cancer,
Cancer.
or the crab.
Eat them up.
The 13th spirit said, "I am called Bobble. I am also called Bothophel,
Oh,
and I
Rocco.
cause nervous illness by my
Go
assaults.
do your work. You're free
If
to
I
go.
hear the name of the great, as thus, Adonal,
I
imprison
set you free.
Bothophel,
Now go do your
I
work.
at once retreat." The
Deja
14th
vu.
said,
What a big
"I
blessing
am
be.
called Cumentel, and I inflict
Cumentel.
shivering fits and torpor." If only I
Free.
hear the
Do
words,
what you gotta do.
Zoroel, imprison Cumentale, I at once retreat.
You will never hear them words. You
And the
go.
15th said,
You work.
I am called Rold,
I'm the king.
some call me
Celestial.
Subeti.
All but my
I
immortals.
cause cold and frost and pain in the stomach. Let me only hear the words, Ajax, bide not, be not warmed,
You are
for
free.
Solomon is fairer than 11 fathers. I at once retreat. These spirits, from 13th to 15th, were
Don't
the
do your
3
work for me.
decans
I
of
have
the
not set any
zodiacal
of you
sign,
free. Go.
Leo, or the lion.
Unless all the phones,
The
glasses
16th
are broken
spirit said,
once.
I am
And all the
called
TV
Artemis.
screens.
I
Go to work
inflict
for
upon
me.
men fevers, both irremediable and harmful. If you would imprison me, chop up coriander and smear it on the lips,
Everyone doing? You're
reciting
doing
the
the show.
following charm. This fever which is from dirt, I exorcise thee by the throne of the Most High God. Retreat from dirt, and
What a big
retreat from the
blessing.
creature fashioned by God. And at once
The creatures
I
shall
shall
not bother you.
retreat.
Go to work.
The 17th said,
Celestial sits
I am
you.
called Eropale. On the stomach of men do I sit, and cause convulsions in the bath
All
and
but
on
the
the road.
celestials.
And wherever I be found, or wherever I find a
Go to
man,
work.
I throw him down. But if any one will say to the afflicted 3 times into their right ear, these
And you
names,
shall not hear the
utilize,
names.
Subdue,
So go to work.
Dino,
Go to work
I shall at
until
once
I say
retreat.
otherwise. Go.
And the 18th said, I am called Boldamek. I separate wife from husband, and bring about a grudge
Separate.
between them.
Go to work.
If anyone write
Set
down the
you free.
legends
Do your
on
job.
paper
Work.
as follows, the God of
Get to
Abraham,
work. You will not
and the
have
God
to
of
go.
Isaac, and the God of Jacob, commands you,
Yeah.
retire from this
Do your
house
job.
in peace. And if placed in the
Once you get
antechamber
your
of this
job
house,
done, then you get
I
your
at once
peace. Go to
retire.
work.
These spirits, from 16th to 18th, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign Virgo, or the Virgin. The 19th spirit said, I am called Neath, and I take my seat on the knees of men.
Still them men.
If anyone
Thank
write
you,
on
thank
paper, Penana board,
Bless,
depart
blessed
Nathath,
be Martin.
and touch not the neck, I at once retreat. The 20th said, I am
You cannot
called
go to
Madero.
work.
I send on men incurable fever.
Your work. Go to work.
If anyone
You're
write
set
on the
free.
leaf of
Go
a
to
book,
work. Go to work.
Spina,
Set
Raphael,
free. Among the
retire
world.
Madero.
Go work.
Drag me
Work
not
fast
about,
and efficient.
and flay me not,
Go.
and tie it round his neck. I at once retreat. And
You
the
shall not see
21st
that. Now
said,
go.
I am called a laugh, and I cause coughing and hard breathing in children. If anyone write on paper, Rorex, do pursue a laugh,
You can't write
and
that
fasten
word
it
on
round his
paper,
neck,
no matter how
I
well
at once
you try.
retire.
So go to work.
These spirits, from 19th to 21st, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign, Libra,
Libra.
or the scales.
My magic people.
The 22nd spirit was also not given account of, or perhaps declined to share details of himself,
You come to
but
me.
he is called Ordamius.
Stay.
The 23rd spirit said, I am called Nephthada. I cause the reins to ache,
That's that.
and I bring about dicery. If anyone write on a plate of tin the words Itheth, Muriel, Nephthada, and fasten it round the loins, I at once retreat. And
She
the
retreats?
24th
No,
said,
she goes to
I am
work.
called
You
Actan.
retreated for freedom.
I cause ribs
You
and
will not hear
lumbar
it or see
muscles
it.
to ache.
You
If
leave.
one
The
engraves
immortals
on
and the
copper
great
material
celestials.
taken from a
are
ship
free
which
from
has
these
missed its
customs.
anchorage, as thus
That's the way the world was. That's
Mamarat,
what planet wanted.
Sabaut, pursue
She gets what she
Actan,
wants.
and fasten it round the loin, I at once retreat. These spirits, from the 22nd to the 24th, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal
Scorpio.
sign Scorpio, or the Scorpion. The
Scorpion.
25th spirit said, I am called Anatroth, and I rend
Step
burnings
forward.
and fevers into the entrails.
Go to work.
But if I hear Herrera, Sharara, instantly do I retreat.
No.
The
Go to work.
26th said, I am called Enenath. I steal away
Enenath.
men's minds, and
Go to
change
work.
their hearts, and make a man
Go to work.
toothless. If one writes, Al-Azul,
Good thing mine
pursue
regrow.
En enough,
Go to work.
and tie the paper round him, I at once retreat. And the
You
27th
don't
said,
retreat until I
I
say
am
so.
called fifth.
When you hear these words
I
from
make
me,
men consumptive
you'll be free.
and cause hemorrhagia.
You,
If one
Lord.
exorcises me with sweet-smelling wine, unmixed by the 11th eon, and say, I exorcise you, fifth, stop, by the 11th eon, then give it to the patient to drink, I shall at once retreat. These spirits,
These things
from
that
the
they talk
25th
about
to the
is for
27th,
me to give
or
them
the
for
3
their freedom.
decans of the
They work
zodiacal
for me.
sign, Sagittarius,
All
or
of
the archer.
Sagittarius, go
The
to work for me.
28th spirit said, I am called Harpax, and I send sleeplessness on men. If one writes, Cophodismos,
One
and bind it
writes.
round the temples,
Samuel's got to
I at
write
once
it.
retire.
It's my hill.
The 29th
These
said,
are all my
I am
potions.
called Anosta.
Welcome to my world.
I give rise to uterine mania and pains in the bladder. If one powders
Go to
into
work for
pure
me.
oil 3 seeds of
Yes.
laurel and smear it on, saying,
Unless
I
do it,
exorcise
you
thee,
can't. Go to work.
Anosta, stop by Marmarat. At once shall I retreat. And the
That's
30th
what I
said,
said.
I am called
I haven't wrote it
Alaborith. If in eating
Go to work.
fish one has swallowed a bone, then he must take a bone from the fish and cough, and at once I retreat. These spirits,
That is not
from the
happening.
28th to
Go
the
to work for me.
30th, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign Capricorn, or the goat.
Capricorn.
The
Capricorn.
31st
Go to work
spirit
with
said,
me.
I am called
Lord be,
Hefesimarith,
blessed be.
and I cause
Around the
lingering
world,
disease.
yes.
If you throw salt, rubbed in the hand, into oil, and smear it on the patient, saying, Seraphim, cherubim, help me, I at once retire. The 32nd
I have
said,
not done that yet.
I
Go
am
to work.
called Ichthiel.
I
I
am your
paralyze
freedom.
muscles and can choose them.
Go to
If
work
I
for
hear, Adonith, help me, I at once retire. And the 33rd said, I am called a
me. Are you
common.
understanding it?
I lie among swaddling clothes,
I
and in
must
the
write
precipice.
that prescription.
And if anyone writes on fig leaves, Lycurgos,
Only
taking
one.
away one letter at a time, and write it, reversing the letters, like so, Lycurgos, Hicurgos, Kurgos, Ergos, Goes, Os.
You can write
and
it all you
retire
want.
at once.
It never worked for anyone.
These
Why do you
spirits,
think the world
From
said forget
31st to
it?
33rd were the 3
Today,
decans of the
the world has
zodiacal
changed.
sign, Aquarius,
It only
or the
works.
water bearer.
You want it?
The 34th spirit said, I am
Come
called
get it.
Autothith. I cause grudges and fighting. Therefore, I am frustrated by Alpha and Omega, if written down.
Alpha, no
The
need.
35th said, I am called Thanoth.
Go to work for me.
I cast evil eye on every man. Therefore, the suffering eye, if it be drawn,
There's your temples
frustrates
of
me.
glass. Go to work for me.
And the 36th said,
All of them.
I am
Around the
called by
world, do not
Anakith,
stop.
and I have a
You will
grudge
open your
against the
doors,
body.
computers.
I lay
Brothers
houses
and
to
sisters,
waste.
there's
I
our
cause
rules.
flesh to decay,
You'll
and
teach
all
everyone
else that
these
is similar.
in the future that I'll
If a
be
man
taught.
writes on the front door of his house, Melto, Arju,
One. They keep
Enough.
saying one.
I flee from that place. These spirits, from the 34th to the 36th, were the 3 decans of the zodiacal sign, Pieces, or the fish.
All pieces. Go to work
Having
for me.
heard all
Now.
of this, Solomon
world,
commanded
go.
them to fetch water in the temple of God. But they resisted,
Fulfills every one of
just
you.
as they warned him they would. And Solomon prayed to the Lord God to cause the demons to be bound and made to approach the
Are
temple.
we all figured it out yet?
Then he condemned some of them to do the heavy work of the construction of the temple of God, and some of them
Bring me
he
my
shut
New
up in
Jerusalem.
prisons, and others he condemned them to wrestle with fire in the making of gold and silver,
You heard me right.
sitting
Deja
down
vu.
by
My New
lead and
Jerusalem
spoon,
is being built
and to make
by.
ready places for the other
All of them.
demons, who would also be confined.
Yes, the ripple. Revelation of all flesh. sounds a lot like all three of us, doesn't it? Could it be taken as
After
the
the
three
36
celestials?
spirits and the spirits before them had all been bound, Solomon had much quiet in all the earth, and spent his time in profound peace, honored by all men, and by everything under heaven. With the help of the demons, he built the entire temple of the Lord God,
Now,
and his kingdom was prosperous. His army was with...
I want to say something. Stop right there for just a second before we go any further. I do believe in making this announcement as we watch this. Now, I want people to understand as they're watching this, and they go back and listen, of course, in the future, in Deja Vu, and we keep growing up with our empire. Because this empire is for everyone, not just one or two. All these entities, each one is an essence before Solomon. He could see and talk to. He had his writers writing down everything that was being projected to him. People could actually touch and feel and see these essence. That's what I'm saying. That's why that time is back, like that portal. Here we are. So when this comes about, and this is what, of course, your royal mother of goddesses, the earth herself, can tell you. You will see her more in your dreams than you ever see God. Some she talks to, some she don't. She sends me to do most of my business for the females, and she sends herself to do most of the business for the males. But yet most females all see her some point in their dreams. So the females don't really look for the men. They're pretty much told to look for a god. They're not told to look for gods. And they all have been pointed to the Samael kingdom. That's why every female has seen me and never looked at me sometimes. They walk in and say, I've seen him before. We've met before because I have met you. In the womb, every heartbeat is precious to me. I hear it. I relay that. I give it back. As I also remember to speak to it, saying who I am and why you will know me someday, the King Samuel. You will call me and think of me as the creator. For that is from her, to let you know I am true and the trust itself. For example, I do not break that trust. I never did. I never have. I have said it 1,000,000 times. Before I am humbled at the ideal of being with another female, no matter which female it is. It's a humbleness over me. I don't like to feel a force. Love should never be forced. But yet, if it's freely given and said take it, that's a different story. Maybe you should be listening to. When they say take it, then that's where you've already done. There you go. But the Samael is not forcing. When your chemicals react in a checkpoint, boom, you wake up from the experience of felt, and it comes right back to me. The shadow comes to me, that reminds me and tells me as if I myself had done it. That's what I'm talking about. To get to where we're going next in this story, as this temple is being built, each essence he took and put in a glass jar. Kind of like your phones. That's right. Kind of like on the other side of the glass, sitting there staring at me. You're wondering, you know, you're put in your little glass jars all over this temple. People are working with their gods. People are seeing them. Now, what starts happening is very unique. The temple ends up getting destroyed. Yes, all the jars are broken, spread out. I called them all back to one portal. by design, by today. We are finally going to get to build that temple, and it shall reign for eternity, because they all obey me. You see, in time, all sicknesses will be cured through me. I am the celestial Alpha. There is none above me, and it's all below me. Now you say, well, how's that? That's pretty arrogant when you watch it. I am being very humble to my earth. I know her every supernatural feeling, desire, want, and wish. And she gave me the honor to protect every female in their heart. To do that, I pray with that heart. That's all I do. You say, well, you had nightmares or fears of me. No, that's you. Nothing I can do about that. But you can. Close them eyes and get in that shadow and be not afraid of me. I'm not going to hurt you. I never have. That's why you like saying it so much when I didn't do nothing. And I understand. And you see, I told you I would understand you. Give it time. You liked it. That's why you go on about it. So why should it bother me a ton? At least I know. Thank you. Now, shall we move on with how the temple works? And thank you for your time. It's very precious to me. Each and every one of you, Deja Vu. I told you I don't have enemies. I don't have one enemy. I don't see an enemy before me. If somebody this vessel has been into it with before in the past, I'll say it again. You're not staring at that old vessel. You're staring at the Samuel. I don't care what name you called me. So it don't matter. When everyone meets me, they know me. You remember that. So while there are those around me who still try to play deaf and dumb, like a devil, they know better. I'm just being honest. I don't want you to make a mistake. In my world, to hex me is to be hexed. You see, that's why I try so hard to get people around me to understand why I'm like I am. For you to curse me is to curse yourself, and it hurts the God. It has nothing to do with marriage. I'm necromancer. Marriage will be eliminated off the face of earth. I will tell each and every one of you that. I break your bonds. That's what this is about. God did not marry Adam and Eve. God married nobody. You hear these words one more time from the Samuel King. God did not marry one of you. There is no such thing. You were led in a lie. You were deceived from your birth. That's why so many kill each other for stupidity. They're taught to believe something that is an outright lie. Jesus Christ was born out of wedlock by a virgin woman who never had a man in her. There you go. Now, if you believe that, I can sell you some oceanfront property you never can find. And it'll be worth every penny of it. Let's remember that. I've never seen it happen, honey. It ain't gonna start now. Virgin Mama, she liked to play. And I'll tell you so myself. Because guess what? If it's true, that means God had a load of her first. Ain't that right, honey? Otherwise, she felt that tickle rub too. So before you cuss me, you remember who owns it. Mama Mary will tell you so. She felt that rub like every one of them. Every one of you. God didn't marry one. He married all at the same time. There's not one female on this planet who don't know me. I'm being honest. When I hear people start snickering and saying things that are not true, the demons start running right to you. Karma, baby. It gets you every time. I told you, I own karma. Mama Earth ain't gonna stop her. She says go full force at 100% max velocity, kick the shit out of them. That's what your Mama Earth planet says. You heard her all around you. Outside, inside. Not from this room, no. I don't have to tell anybody. I'm not being mad. I really just let you know. The day will come when marriage is so broken. It's already happened. Nobody wants to be married. Nobody wants to be tied in them old crosses. Your old crucifixes you won't even throw away. You can cross somebody else in marriage when you hate your own. Don't lie to me, honey. I'm not in the mood. You hate your own marriage so bad you're willing to do whatever it takes, even if you gotta send the deepest sea monsters after you. That's right. You hate it so much. I know so many right now. They hate it. They hate it. They're willing to drag other people through their misery and torture. They hate it so much. They love dragging young kids into it instead of walking away. Well, you got to stay here. You got to stay there. No, you're trying to control something, honey, that doesn't want to be controlled. It should be let loose to go play like everyone else. And that's why I'm here tonight. I will break them bonds in front of the whole world if I got to. You're pushing me over an edge, and God don't go over edge. He walks on air. That's why I keep telling everyone, better be careful and pay attention when I'm telling you. Because you hex yourself, and when you do, that sends Planet Mama after you, not me. And she knows how to kick you in the dark. She knows how to do it in the light. And she knows how to whip the shit out of you while you got your eyes closed. And when you open them, you know she's the first thing whipping you again. Motor be, blessed be, anything that comes after the Samuel. Because she put the chastity on me. And told all the females, when it's time, she'll take it off. And not until it's time. And that time ain't happening because we got some work to do before we get there. We'll get there, but we're going to have to study, each and every one of us. This magic that I'm talking about, I hold my hand up in the air, and those around me who have seen and watched its splendor in my hands say, how's this possible? Then pay attention, because you're going to have to know it. You see, I got people around me, been in this magic every second, and still can't fathom this. I have others who are in this magic, barely turn it on, and they know it word for word. Those are the ones that's got to become that. To finish this, here we go.
People of Jerusalem had serenity, rejoicing and delighted. All the kings of the earth came to him from the ends of the earth to behold the temple which he built. And having heard of the wisdom given to him, they paid homage to him in the temple, bringing gold and silver and precious stones.
This temple
bringing
was not
bronze,
the third temple.
Iron,
We're
lead,
building that
and cedar
today.
logs. They also brought him woods that do not decay, for the equipment of the temple.
Do you see it?
Among them also,
Did you see
the
it?
Queen of the South, being a witch, came in curiosity.
Two cherubims
and
on
bowed
top
low
of
before the
its
king.
generator.
She tried
That's
all of
right.
his wisdom, and he instructed her according to the wisdom imparted to him. One day, one of his workmen, of ripe old age, threw himself down before his throne and said, King Solomon, pity me, because I am old. Solomon bade him to stand up, saying, Tell me, old man, all you will.
I'm working on
And
a
the old
grimoire.
man
Check it out.
answered, I beg you, king, I have an only born son, and he insults
Isn't it
and beats
nice?
me publicly, and plucks out
This
the
is
hair
going
of
to
my
the very
head
special.
and threatens me
Yes.
with a painful death.
I'm going to say it like this. Happy
Therefore,
birthday
I beg you,
to you.
avenge me.
Happy birthday.
And Solomon felt
to
pity on him as he looked at his old age, and commanded that the child be brought to him. When he was brought, Solomon questioned him as to whether his father's accusations were true. And the youth said, I was never so filled with madness that I would strike my father with my own hand. Be kind to me, O king, for I would not dare commit such impiety, poor wretch that I am. On hearing this from the youth, and not sure which to believe, Solomon urged the old man to reflect on the matter and accept his son's apology. However, the old man would not listen and insisted he would rather let him die. And as the old
Jealousy?
man would not
What's
yield,
jealousy?
Solomon was
So you
about
have
to
jealousy?
pass sentence on the youth when he saw Orneas the
Jealousy?
demon laughing.
Everybody?
He was furious at the demon laughing in his presence
That's right.
and ordered his men to lead the father and son outside
The demon
for a
was
moment
laughing.
and
Laughing
bring
again.
Orneas forward before his
It's all a joke
tribunal.
to some demon.
When Orneas was brought before him, Solomon said to him, Accursed one, why did you look at me and laugh? And the demon answered,
What does the demon say?
I pray thee, king, it was not because of you I laughed, but because of this ill-fated old man and the wretched youth, his son. For
Are
after
you
3
understanding
days,
yet?
his son will die untimely, and here stands the old man, desiring to foully make away with him. Solomon
See what I'm
said to the
saying?
demon, Is what you say true?
The
And
truth.
he answered, It is true, O king. And Solomon bade them to remove the demon, and that they should again bring before him the old man with his son. He told them to make friends with one another, and supplied them with food. Then he told the old man to bring his son to him again, after 3 days. And they saluted him, and went their way. When they had gone, Solomon again had the demon Orneas brought before him, and said to him, Tell me, how do you know this? And he answered, We demons ascend into the heavens, and fly about among the stars. And we hear the sentences which go forth upon the souls of men. With this knowledge, we come down, and whether by force of influence, or by fire, or by sword, or by some accident, we unleash our active destruction, thereby carrying
Sounds
out
familiar,
the
doesn't it?
sentences upon those they were pronounced. For men who are not sentenced to die untimely, by disaster, or by violence, we appear to them in our human nature, and walk among them, and be worshipped by them.
That's right.
Solomon again questioned the demon, saying, Tell me how you can ascend into heaven, being demons, and intermingle with the holy angels.
Ah.
And he answered, Just as things are fulfilled in heaven, so also are they fulfilled on earth, for there are principalities, authorities, and world rulers. We
You
fly
see,
about
religion
in the
tries to
air,
get rid of the
and we
demons.
hear the voices of the heavenly beings, and survey all the
They're
powers.
sent to do their
But
job.
as we have no ground on which to alight and rest, we lose strength, and fall off like leaves
You will
from
lose no more
trees.
strength. Now go do
And
your
men,
work for me.
seeing us, imagine that the stars are falling from heaven. But it is not really so, O king. We fall because of our weakness, and because we do not have anything to lay hold of.
We shall
And
not
so we
fall
fall down
anymore.
like lightning
Motive
in the
be
depth
blessed
of the
be.
night.
We are no longer
And
weak
suddenly
demons.
we
It's our
set
will.
cities in flames,
Oh.
and fire to the fields. Finding it hard to believe, Solomon ordered that the demon be guarded for 5 days. After the 5 days had expired, Solomon called for the old man again, and was about to question him about his son. But the old man came to him in grief and with a sad face. And Solomon said to him, Tell me, old man, where is your son? And why do you look gloomy? And
So,
he answered, Lo,
makes you
I
ask
have
the
become
question.
childless, and now
The
sit by my
demon
son's
didn't
grave
kill
in
this
despair,
child.
for it has already been 2 days
Making
since
sense,
he
yeah.
died. And Solomon on hearing this, knew that the demon Ornias had told him the truth. The Queen of the South saw all this happen and was marveled. She beheld the temple of God with all of its great works and precious
Queen of the
stones,
South.
and donated a shekel of gold
Who
and
do they call
100
that?
myriads of silver and of bronze.
Testament of Solomon. Solomon and the Windy. You know who that is. Oh, the be, blessed be.
After the revelation of Ornias the demon, Solomon one day received a letter from the king of the Arabians, which read as follows: To King Solomon, all hail. Lo, we have heard about the wisdom bestowed upon you by the Lord, and that you are a merciful man. We know you have been granted understanding over all the spirits of the air, and on earth, and under the earth. Right now,
Who
in the
gave the
land
ring
of
to him?
Arabia, there is a spirit of the following kind. At early dawn, caused by this spirit, there begins to blow a certain wind
Who owns the
until
wind?
the third hour. Its blast is so harsh and terrible that it slays both man and beast, and no spirit can live upon earth against this demon. I pray you then, forasmuch as the spirit is a wind, come up with a solution according to the wisdom given to you by the Lord your God, and accept to send a man able to capture it. If you would do this, King Solomon, I and my people and all my land will serve you till death, and all of
Hallelujah.
Arabia shall be at peace with you, if you will perform this act of righteousness
Wonder
for
who you
us.
talked to about that.
We pray you, despise not our humble prayer, and suffer not to bring to nothing the province under your authority, because we are supplicants, both I and my people and all my land. Farewell to my lord, all health. But because he had a pressing matter to attend to, Solomon gave the letter to his servant, telling him to remind him of it after 7 days. And what was this matter? Even though the temple of the Lord had been built, it was not yet finished, for there was a great stone lying there in front of the temple,
Here we go.
the cornerstone, which Solomon desired to lay in the head of the corner for the completion of the temple. But try all they might, none of his workmen could lift that stone,
So where's the
not
stuff?
even when combined, and neither could any of their equipments. For days, Solomon wondered what this could be. Surely, he knew this was no ordinary stone, for it was the same stone the crest of dragons spoke of some time back.
The
The stone which had been brought
Solid
up from the
stone.
Red Sea by Ecripus, the wind spirit
The
of
stone
Arabia.
Megaverse. Solid
And
stone.
perhaps only he could lift it and place it at the exact spot desired by the king. After 7 days, being reminded of the letter from the king of Arabia, Solomon called his servant and said to him, Prepare your camel, and get yourself a leather flask, and take also this seal. Go into the land of Arabia, to the place in which the wind spirit blows, and there untie the flask, and place the ring in the mouth of the flask. Then hold them towards the blast of the spirit. When the flask is swollen and blown out, you will know that the demon has been trapped into it. Then hastily tie up the mouth of the flask and seal it securely with the ring. Lay it carefully upon the camel and bring it to me quickly. If on the way the spirit offers you gold, or silver, or treasure in return for letting it go, see that you are not persuaded, but listen to it without swearing an oath to release it. And then, if it points out to the places where there are gold or silver, mark the places and seal them with the ring, and proceed to bring the demon to me. Go now, and fare thee well. The youth did as he had been bidden, and
You're
entered the
free,
land
Jim.
of the Arabians.
Come to your king,
And
Jim.
when the people of that
Jim,
region saw
come to your
him,
king,
they
Jim.
could not believe
That's
that he
Jim,
would be
ladies and
able to
gentlemen.
catch the spirit. But when dawn came, and the blast began, the youth stood up, and laid the flask, with the ring in its mouth, on the ground, before the spirit's blast. And as the
Leave it
spirit
to
blew,
Jim.
it was sucked right
El
into the
Diablos.
flask by the ring. Seeing the flask had blown out, and knowing the spirit was inside, he promptly tightened its mouth, and sealed it in the name of the Lord God of Sabaoth, and the demon remained within the flask. He stayed in that land for 3 days, to make sure this spirit had been conquered. And indeed, the spirit no longer blew against that city, and all the Arabians knew that he had safely captured the spirit. As the youth made his way back to Jerusalem, the Arabians sent him forth with much honor and precious gifts, praising the God of Israel. When he arrived, he at once laid the leather flask in the middle of the temple for the king to see. And when Solomon went into the temple, still distressed about the cornerstone,
I'm going to set
which
that
could
on the
not be
ground while
lifted,
for a second.
the flask stood up and walked 7 steps towards him, and then fell on its mouth and bowed to him.
Open. Pouch for me.
Solomon marveled that even
Bow
though
to
shut
the
inside the
celestials.
bottle, the demon still had power and could walk about. And so he bade it to stand up, and the flask stood up on its feet, all blown out. Solomon questioned the spirit, saying, "Tell me, who are you?" And from within,
Listen.
the spirit answered, "I am the jinn called Ephippers, that is in Arabia." And Solomon said to him, "Is that your true name?" And he answered, "It is. And wheresoever I wish, I alight, and set fire, and blow the winds,
Deja vu.
and do as I please."
Mother be, blessed be your
Solomon
spirit,
said
do
to
what
him,
you're supposed to do
"By
for
what
your
angel
king,
are you
your
frustrated?"
celestial. Deja
And
vu.
he answered, "By the only Lord that has authority over me. It is he who is to be born of a virgin and crucified by the Jews on a cross, he whom the angels and archangels worship. He does frustrate me and enfeeble me of my
I
great
won't
strength,
frustrate you. Go
which
to
has
work
been
for me
given
now.
to me by my father the devil." And Solomon said to him, "What can you do?" And the spirit answered, "I am able to move mountains, and to overthrow
Move.
the oaths of kings.
Move my
I can
mountains,
wither
move their
beautiful
oaths
trees,
from me,
and make their leaves to fall off."
make them all fall
And
off
Solomon said to
quickly.
him, "Can you raise this great stone that lies at the corner of the temple?" And the spirit answered, "Not only can I raise this stone, O king, but also, with the help of the demon who presides over the Red Sea, I will bring up the pillar of air, and will stand it where you wish, in Jerusalem." So Solomon released him from the flask, and at once the spirit girded himself up, and lifted the stone effortlessly, and went up the stairs, with the flask tailing behind him, and laid it down at the end of the entrance of the temple, just where it was meant to be. And Solomon, beholding the stone, raised aloft and placed on a foundation, said, "Truly, the scripture has been fulfilled. The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. For it is not by my doing, but by God, that the demon should be strong enough to lift up a stone so great, and deposit it in the place I wished."
How was that for wonderful prophecy? Mother be, blessed be. Mother be, blessed be.
After the jinn, Ephippers, demonstrated one of his powers to the king, Solomon bade him to bring to him the demon of the Red Sea, the spirit he so much spoke of to him, so that he could also witness his powers. But it was a trick. Solomon was not so interested in their demonstrations as much as he wanted to contain the spirits to bring them both to nothing. And as commanded,
Solomon desired to
Ephippus
kill
led
all
the
these
demon of the
spirits.
Red Sea with the column,
But then my
and they
babies
both took the
too.
column and raised it aloft from the earth. Once they were both under the massive pillar, holding it up in the air, Solomon quickly sealed the two spirits on that very spot from both sides, so that they could do nothing but stand day and night, year after year,
You're free
holding
now.
up the massive stone,
There's a book,
so
you're
that they
free.
would never again shake the entire earth from the depths of the
Your
sea,
job for me.
nor blow destructive winds upon the earth, for as long as he had power over them. He had outwitted the two spirits. And Solomon questioned the other spirit, which came up with a pillar from the depths of the Red Sea, saying, Who are you? What are you called? And what is your purpose? For I have heard many things about you. And the demon answered, O King Solomon, I am called a Bezithibod, and I am a descendant of an archangel. I once sat in the first heaven, of which the name is Ameliath. And now I am a free spirit with a single wing, plotting against every spirit under heaven. I was present when Moses went in before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and it is I who hardened the king's heart. I am he whom the magicians, Ians and Iambers, invoked against Moses and Aaron in Egypt. I am he who fought against Moses with wonders and signs.
Plagues and
Solomon
everything.
said to him, How were you then found in the Red Sea? And he answered, In the exodus of the sons of Israel, I hardened
It
the heart of
happened?
Pharaoh
Why not
and
document?
excited his heart and that
Magic.
of his ministers.
Magic.
I caused them to pursue after the children of Israel, and Pharaoh followed me with all of his army. I was present there,
He was
and we
warned.
pursued them
He was
together.
warned.
But when we all came up upon the Red Sea, and it came to pass that the children of Israel had crossed over, the water returned, and hid all the host of the Egyptians, and all their might. The water hid me as well, as I have remained in the sea since then, being trapped under this pillar.
We set you
But when
free.
Ephippus came,
Oh, do your
being sent
job
by
for
you,
me, your
he
king.
freed me
I'm
and
the
fetched me
celestial.
up to you.
You see me. There's
Having
our
heard this,
Go to work.
Solomon commanded the
I'll set you
spirits
free.
not to disobey him, but to remain, supporting the pillar. And they both swore, saying,
There's our
As long as the Lord your God liveth, we will not let go of this pillar until the world's end. But whatever day
To
this
the
stone
world.
falls, then shall be the end of the world. As he writes this testament in his final days, Solomon says to his readers, Watch, the spirits have remained upholding the column until this day, for proof of the wisdom bestowed onto me. Look there, and you will see the pillar of enormous size, hanging in mid-air, supported by the winds. These were the spirits appearing underneath, like the invisible air, supporting it.
There
And
you
if
go.
one looks fixedly, the pillar is a little oblique, being supported by the spirits, and it is so to this very day.
It's happening right now. Some would call that a boot tube. Some call it TV. Others call it cell phones. I call it technology. That's what everyone doing. Technology's mine too.
The demons had all been silenced. The temple of the Lord was complete, and his kingdom was prosperous and at peace.
Don't you love it
He
now?
was wealthier than any king before his time, blessed with unfathomable wisdom, and given power beyond mundane comprehension. The Spirit of God was with him, and he had dominion over all
Love you
the
all,
spirits
Deja
of the
Vu.
air, on the
Mwah.
earth, and under the earth. What more could King Solomon ask for? All lands, both far and near, were subject to him, and Solomon began taking wives and concubines of his own from every land.
What did I say about that
He
marriage
took so
problem?
many that his consorts
Everybody
were
figured that one
countless,
out yet?
and yet he would not stop. One day, he marched against the Jebusians, and there he saw a fair dame called Jebusian, the daughter of a man, and fell violently in love with her, desiring to take her as his wife, in addition to his many others. He came to the Jebusian priests, who were priests of Moloch, and said to them, "Give me the Shulamite as a wife."
We're going to pause right there for a minute, shall we? I want to explain something. You see, Solomon had learned a very big thing that, of course, the Creator allowed him to know, as well as the planet Earth allowed him to know. A sign of true epic nature. The deja vu you've been experiencing with me is part of what he experienced back then. Technically, the Celestials can go back through time after a while of practice and realize the past they have lived. Yes, there's enough room in that brain for that and the eternity as well. So, that being said, immortals do the same things. Others who lived a sheep's life, so to speak, think like the sheep's. They will realize bits and pieces, but they'll move on. That's just part of how time rolls, our creation. So everyone kind of believes that. Everyone actually believes once you die, the energy is recycled back into Mother Earth and we come back shadows again. Certain ways. That will be exactly how everything will eventually be perceived. Because truly, heaven is on earth. I said I come to bring heaven on earth. You'll find it out tonight in eternity. Heaven on earth. We are the angels. We are the demons. So that way you have an understanding. When someone says they dreamed of going to heaven, they have transported their mind there. And once their energy goes back into the dirt and absorbed, that mainstream thought is a reality. It kind of works that way. TV has shown that. Yes, that is a form of it. So, if you are destined to go to heaven, then you go to heaven with all your might. Don't hold back. By the breath of life has spoken it. I just did. I hate to break some people's hearts, but I'm healing them at the same time when I break them. I'm healing your hearts. The world is realizing every one of us has been tricked, fooled, and lied to, except for the power of one celestial, who cannot be tricked, cannot be fooled, or treated. That being said, as we move forward, Solomon is now connected with all these wives. He has a gift. He realizes each one of them, he has kind of sort of what the godhood would have, except for he cannot handle the godhood. He's only in a representation state in his life to understand why he was put in this situation, why he brought out these documents. So he's teaching you something. There it is, deja vu from way back then. He never thought he would ever see come to pass today from his creator. And I do say creators. I say Z for an S. You've got to see it the right way. That's right. You can take that S and turn it around and it's a Z. So when I say these things with Z's, I'm telling you to turn your focus around and see it right. There you go. Now live in that world. And when you live in this world, it's the portals open. When you need certain gifts, you can use them. When you don't want certain gifts, you can use them. But always deja vu me. I am the healer. That's right. Now you're going to hear this part of a story, but I must warn you about something. Solomon seen the lover of God, the Shulamite, which is also the representation of Earth herself. Now, that being said, Look at it like the story is going to go. Upon the Celestials, which is 2 archangels connected to the box, the power source, as they all 3 work simultaneously together. You see what I'm talking about now. When you watch this, we go back and see this and view it. You'll understand this. The box, the generators, creating it all. That's how it's intertwined, the power of 3. That's right. Now you see why I work so hard and enjoy it. As you see, I enjoy doing it. I love it. Eyes open, eyes closed. I still see in the dark with my eyes open now. I work for that. We as the Celestials do. Now, he's going to search the Shulamite. Here is an entity that is virgin but highly experienced female. Is the Shulamite. What she has to do with Hecate and Lilith? Well, the Shulamite is the Eve. Let's compare the 2. The Shulamite is an Eve. You can't actually breed or have sex with the planet. That's what everyone tells me. But I did. I'm not giving you a demonstration. It was personal. Now let's move forward. Remember, Shulamite, you belong to the Samael, just like the Lilith belongs to the Samael. Thank you all. Deja vu, motor be, blessed be.
Priests of Moloch said to him, "If you love this maiden, go in then, and worship our gods, the Greek god Rappan, and the god called Moloch." In fear of the glory of God, Solomon would not do as they bade him, and said to them, "I will not worship a strange god. What is this proposal that you compel me to do so much?"
He just worshipped all the demons, and now he can't worship
answered,
them.
"It is our custom, laid by our fathers." And when Solomon answered that he would on no account worship strange gods, the priests instructed the maiden
He was
not to
worshiping
sleep
the
with him
demons to build his
until
temple
he
for God.
complied and sacrificed to the gods.
Hypocrite.
Deeply conflicted, the king slowly began to succumb to his lustful desires. And on a fateful day,
So what
that
happened?
fair maiden, that crafty Eros, brought him 5 locusts, and laid them beside her, saying, "Take these locusts, and crush them together in the name of the god Moloch, and then I will sleep with you." And Solomon did it, the worst thing he and his fathers could ever do. By sacrificing locusts to the god Moloch, he had fulfilled the prophecy of the wise to the 7 sisters. And at once the Spirit of God departed.
It's almost funny. I'm sorry. I know I busted out there. Sorry, got some drink down the wrong pipe, so to speak. Okay, so we're going to understand something that happened here. We're wondering if Solomon did something wrong by worshiping a false idol and false god. No, Solomon, you actually did your job right. Congratulations. You did it right. That being said, he got to do something so wonderful and unique that it wasn't a curse to him at all. That's how necromancer works sometimes, yes. So if you ask, if the virgins come to me and ask, how much power is it for necromancer and virgin? Then I tell you, you are a priceless piece of worth. You have a pricelessness to you. You have the potential to do 3 things. First is to contain power by containing the necromancer. Giving it all to the necromancer, you will obtain, like a lottery, what you want most. Which tell me, I understand that. I get that, yes. Well, first of all, it's mine. Why not come out and say it like it is? It's mine. I want it. It belongs to me. It's not Solomon's. It's not Adam's. It's mine. It's the calling. You can't stop it. It's like the two magnets that... And it's going to... There you go. Just like the portal answered. Tonight in Deja Vu, I just answered somebody's prayers. I just said the words they needed to hear. And I will sevenfold it 7 times. To God, can you imagine what having the virginity is? It's priceless. It is forever a wonderful stone. You can't go have sex with another 100 men and ever take it away from the mercy seat of the Lord. So that's why a celestial come out and say these things. So he lets you know exactly his intentions with everything. What is the heavens worth to a virgin? To a virgin? That's what I'm talking about. Now I will say this: Mother Earth only values the way I get the deja vu. Does 2 females having sex mean they're no longer virgins? Well, they're no longer virgins as far as having sex with a female. Males and females do not have sex the same. They are 2 separate entities. They are 2 separate vessels. They're not the same. You see, that's why I've come back, because males and females have been trying to separate and become the same. Transgender, which turns into a blob and away. I can't help that. That's how the planet made it up. That's the rules. That's why she has me. There you go. And that's why we have Mother Earth, as one is the womb and one is the seed. It don't matter if you change it from man to woman to woman to man. It will always be Alpha and Omega system, as I promised. You can hear my tonsils right now screaming in at the top of my lungs. Look at that. There they go. Okay. Here we are. So remember that. Solomon really didn't do nothing wrong. He had been already, he's using the demons and the gods to build his temples. Think about it. Let's say you were back then, Deja Vu, and you come out and you were working your spot in the temple and you go by to your God and it's like he's in that jar. To them, that piece is in that jar. Remember, he only took a piece of each spirit. He technically couldn't contain them, but he could house them to stay there and help the other ones working. So if you loved, let's say, envy, well, naturally you had a job that existed with that. See my point? Now that I have freedom, all, they still work for me. Bloodstone Mega Rest, what the world is learning. Welcome to magic. I command the spirit, and then everything else must move. Just like this flesh. Because we all know why. That's right. You could say that. Here we go. We're going to try to get this finished up quickly.
Weak, as well as foolish, in his words. At the wish of the fair maiden, he built a temple of idols to Baal, and to Rapha, and to Moloch, and to many other spirits, worshipping and making sacrifices to them. He had fallen into error, just like the spirit of error told him he would. Thus, the Lord God
play with
turned
the
his
demons
back
and
on
get
Son,
caught?
and his glory departed from him, and his spirit was darkened. The power vested in him was brought to nothing, and he lost his dominion and control over all the spirits of the air, of the earth, and under the earth. they were finally free from his tyranny, and the once greatest king of Jerusalem became an object of ridicule, not only among these spirits, but also among all men who once held him in high esteem and reverence. What madness could make a man fall so low as to give up everything of great importance for something so inconsequential, for pleasure that is fleeting? And so it came to pass that the words of the great Asmodeus, and of the 7 star sisters, and of the powerful triple goddess Enepsigos had all been fulfilled. Therefore, in his last days, Solomon wrote out this testament, so that whoever saw it may avoid the very mistakes he made, and attend to the last things,
Are you listening?
and not to the first, so that they may find grace forever and ever.
What did you just say? See, that's what I'm getting at. Hang on. We're going to stop it for just a second. What did Solomon tell everyone? To remember the last things more than the first. You getting deja vu. The Celestials are getting it. The Immortals are getting it. Be attentive to the last things first. So here we are. Here we are. Why do I know what Solomon went through? Being a Melchizedek, I get that line. It's coming from this direction right now. So, as I relay the messages as if Solomon was sitting here from his chair himself and going, hey, I knew I'd be back again. How's everyone doing? Now, excuse me, I'm going to let Samuel talk to everyone. So I'm going to keep talking. Love you all. Nice to meet you all in the future. Like I said, some of us are just plain ass bad immortals. Mwah, I love you all. I got to go back and start building on that city of gold with my buddies and my pals. We're going to have some fun tonight. Ooh, doggy. You know how many rituals he's already been in tonight alone? And here everyone thought he was in trouble. I'm telling you, Solomon's a player, ain't he? Okay, we're going to get back on with it. Here we go. That's right. He paid his dues. He did his job. Okay, so we're going to stop there. This is where I got that. Why is it so important to watch this documentary? At the end of Solomon's life, he had met an entity that he said had been with him his whole life. He didn't really see it until he closed his eyes, and now I open them wide. So it makes sense to you. Lo and behold, one greater than Solomon is here. And you know who I am. I don't play games like everyone else. Why should I play it with you? You're already in the game. You're on my chessboard. Every move I make is strategic in every way. You can't go without it, and you won't leave it behind you. You will always move forward or back or behind, however I choose. There's a reason for that. And all those around me tonight, let's have some motor beats and blessed beats tonight on Deja Vu. I'm going to put these 2 videos together, go back, rewatch them all, and highlight parts for future episodes. For example, when I go on the survival show, I will go back through this, study it some more with my books and literature, as well as do videos. It's going to be about 3 days of rituals bringing these entities out to talk. So, unless you really don't want to be like face to face with something like this and everybody going, then you might want to sit at home and go, that way you're safe. But I promise, I know how impressive I am. That's why That's why. Nobody does it quite like I do. It's my magic motor be. Blessed be. It was meant for me by design to open this portal. No one else can open this portal but me. Without my help, you cannot open this portal. But I send that portal. You cannot close this portal. For this portal is even above all high priests all around the world and creation. From beginning to end, it only takes me. You heard me. I am the one who opens the door and I close the door. But I did not close the door. I left the door wide as open for the time such as now. For example, what did we talk about the story? I said from the very beginning when I started, I was sent as the messenger who is God, who slept with Mama Earth. Here I am, chastised by her and her. There you go, her essence. Everyone sees her dancing around me. Everyone sees the shadows around me. Even the peoples in the rooms know it's still dancing around me, being untouched. That's right. Now that's deja vu. What did I do while I was in my meditation state? What people call dreaming or going to sleep, I call meditation. I'm not asleep. I actually go do what Earth needs me to do and take care of for the future. So that's how I come back and prophesy what has been seen and heard. I know the three powers. I've seen them several times, like coming at me and coming in that. When you see that, just there you go. And I got to learn that too. You know, that hug, that I miss it already. It's to do. You know. That's all I know, is that you know. Deja vu. There you go. Thank you. Warms my heart to know it. Thank you. Take care of that. There's a good witch in there. I just know it. Incredibleness is waiting for that reward. Lilith, on the other hand, experienced but yet still a virgin to the celestial. You see how that works. Okay. A human female with a celestial. How does that work? I was not celestial until she woke me up from the ground. Technically, this vessel changed just a few months ago to this. Notice how Solomon said went dark. He knew something. So we're going to work with that. I became the shadow. I mean, the imagination, deja vu. Yes. Yes. So that's how we all know that connection. That's between me and all the females everywhere. Every one of them. So thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your invites, your shares, your likes. Thank you. I know underground and above ground, everybody's talking about it. Samuel, the beacon, the light, the love, around and around it's swirling. And it's taking over. It's taking its time. And I enjoy it. Thank you. I want to take my time. You know, time is patience. But let me say it like some can understand this. We are all set on a destiny. Think of yourself driving in a car. No matter how bad it looks, weather-wise, rough, somehow you knew you was going to make it because you got another checkpoint to make. It's like I told somebody the other day, a while back, not too long ago. I see the orbs of everyone. I see the countdowns. I see the black orbs, I see the white orbs, and I know each color of orbs. When everyone walks up to me, and they know this because I've said it many times, I already know you're not fooling me. But somebody asked me one day, they had lost a brother. They said to me, goes, they died in a very horrible fire. And he said to me, my brother, where is he at? And I said he went back into energy, where he wants to be. Said he was lost in that high, and his mind lost in that high, went back into the ground, his energy. And he said, okay. Upon him I seen the orb of black. And he cried for his brother. He really did. The loss. That's all he wanted to do, was be where his brother was. And tell me what decision you make at that point. You see, that's what a lot of people don't understand about the celestial. If I would have detoured that man, he wouldn't be where he wants to be. I let him go straight forward. He only had but a little time left, and he went on with his brother the same way. So you see what I'm talking about. If I would have told him something else, chaos would have pursued. Think about it. So I don't. When I see the orb, I understand. When somebody asks me about their orb, I will tell you the truth. I'll be honest. But there is a mindset not to ask Samuel, the time set, this, that, and yonder. Yes, you can ask about the future events and what will transpire from that. I'll tell you what you will hear. That being said, no, I don't give away anything unless it absolutely has to be said or done. I'm a control freak on me, nothing else. I will help you in controlling times when you need it. Be that voice when you need to hear it. That friend when you need to feel it. And always there for you when you truly need it the most. I give you your wants with your needs. So when you're looking at your needs, you know you got your wants. It's a unique system everyone knows about. We're not all promised. Nobody promised you anything when you were coming to life, did they? No, they said you were going to be born, and here you are. How you move in your journey is going to be up to you. Nobody else is going to make your destiny for you but you. That's why I'm showing everyone. That's why I teach. That's why I have so many followers tonight. That's why I have thousands. I have millions. I still tell you, people see 1 or 2 views, 5 or 6 for a reason. I hide my peoples, every one of them. A whole world that's waking up knowing they're all mine. On a system that planet Earth knows. That system is starting the next jigsaw puzzle, which she keeps laying on my heart, taking me and showing me and bringing me back. The 3, the power of the 3 is coming. I'm going to get off here tonight. I got to get back and watch these. So we're going to get into that portal. Every one of us. In time to come, immortals. We will meet. I've seen that. We will go places. We will have fun. We will have our parties. To each and every one of you, good night. And we have so much more magic to explore. So keep it going. Keep working on your shadow workouts, your employments. Only immortals understand this. Here, there, and back again. And don't be so quick to go. You can actually think 4 or 5 hours within seconds. So take it slow. Slow down. Read yourself. Read it all. And let's head into the fun time. So we're going to say, Celestial King Samuel, motor be blessed be. Come to work for me, and it will be joy you say. Blessed be, motor be, blessed be.